Think you're warming up your bike safely? Think again. Up to 75% of engine wear happens during the cold startup. Common warm-up habits: long idling, revving hard, or misusing the choke hurt your engine and waste fuel. We're breaking down 9 common warm-up mistakes riders of all motorcycles make when warming up. Mastering these will save your engine and your wallet. In fact, Lube Squad notes that gentle riding warms the whole drivetrain faster than idling. By the end, you'll warm up your bike the right way. Mistake 1: idling too long. Excessive idling is an old-school myth. Modern multi-grade oils flow well even when cold, so extra idle time just dumps unburned fuel into cold cylinders. A long idle floods the engine with fuel and washes the oil off the cylinder walls. That dilutes lubricant, creates carbon deposits, and accelerates wear on rings and bearings. Early carbureted bikes did need more warm-up, but they only required about a minute or two. Today's fuel-injected bikes idle smoothly in seconds, so sitting longer than needed is wasteful. Consequence: wet, fuel-soaked cylinders mean poor lubrication. Pistons and bearings see extra friction and wear. You'll foul the plug and waste gas. How to do it right: idle only briefly. Once it settles, ride gently off. Moving the bike circulates oil and warms everything much faster and more evenly than idling. In practice, keep the initial idle around 30 to 60 seconds at most, then roll off smoothly. Mistake 2: revving a cold engine. No matter how tempting, don't blip the throttle immediately on a cold engine. When it's cold, internal clearances are tight. Hammering the throttle causes accelerated wear on pistons, valves, and bearings. A sudden high RPM shocks the cold metal and thin oil film, wasting fuel with no benefit. In extreme cases, a rapid rev can actually seize the piston in its bore. Even 4-strokes hate being revved hard when cold. Consequence: engine damage. High revs can score cylinders or bearings before oil fully flows. You're also burning fuel and blowing out raw gas into the exhaust. How to do it right: keep RPM low after start. Let idle stabilize, then gradually roll on throttle. Even as you begin riding, keep the engine tame. Shift early, stay in lower gears, and avoid any hard acceleration until you feel the bike warming up. Mistake 3: misusing the choke. Carbureted bikes need a choke to start, but using it wrong causes trouble. Leaving the choke on too long floods the engine with fuel and washes oil from the bore. Conversely, skipping a choke on a frigid morning can make a carb bike stall. Consequence: too rich running fouls plugs and destroys the oil film. The engine will bog or even stall as it warms. How to do it right: use choke to start, then back it off gradually as the idle smooths. Disable the choke completely as soon as the bike idles cleanly. You'll usually see the idle speed drop. That's your cue to pull the choke. If the engine dies, restart with a tiny choke pulse and try again. For EFI bikes, the computer handles cold fueling, so no choke is needed. Mistake 4: no idle. Warm up at all. Some riders assume they can roar away the moment they fire up. Rushing off immediately is a mistake. After starting, oil pressure needs a moment to build and electronics to stabilize. Slamming it into gear instantly means the engine is still oil-starved during the first few seconds. Consequence: take off with low oil pressure. A cold engine with clutch in gear can lug or stall badly, causing parts to grind. How to do it right: let the engine run briefly at idle to stabilize. Use that time to strap on your helmet or gloves. By the time you're ready, the bike will be nearly ready too. Then roll away gently in first gear at low RPM, shifting early. Let the bike pick up speed slowly. Remember, the first few blocks are just the engine's warm-up run. Mistake 5: lugging the engine. Lugging is when you force your motorcycle to do heavy work at low RPM, and on a cold engine, it's one of the worst things you can do. When oil is cold, it's thicker, and engine parts haven't yet expanded to proper tolerances. Forcing the bike to pull hard in that state is like grinding dry metal together. The result? The engine bogs, vibrates, or stalls, while the crankshaft, bearings, and transmission take serious punishment. Even your clutch plates can slip and overheat as they struggle to keep up. To do it right, use lower gears and keep the revs up slightly around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM until everything's warm. As the Lube Squad puts it, short shift and avoid lugging during warm-up. A gentle rollout not only prevents wear, but warms the engine evenly and safely. Mistake 6. Burnouts and wheel spinning. Never ever do burnouts to warm up your motorcycle. It's one of the fastest ways to damage your bike without gaining a thing. When you spin the rear wheel at idle, the clutch plates slip and overheat, the chain and tire wear prematurely, and you waste fuel while risking balance or a tip-over. The truth is, a burnout doesn't actually warm your engine or tires evenly. It just stresses your drivetrain. According to motorcycle maintenance experts, clutch replacements caused by repeated burnouts are among the most common self-inflicted repair costs for riders. Instead, idle briefly, then roll away gently and let the natural friction of steady acceleration, braking, and cornering warm up your engine and tires safely. Save the wheelies and burnouts for the track, where your machine's already hot and ready, not your driveway. Mistake 7. Warming up in gear. Idling in gear is a subtle mistake. When in gear, the drivetrain isn't cycling, so the clutch and transmission don't get consistent oil flow and can heat unevenly. Consequence: cold clutch plates and gears get no extra lubrication. There's drag from partial engagement, which can cause wear or noise. It's also unsafe. If you ever slip your foot off the brake, the bike will lunge. How to do it right. Always warm up in neutral. This lets the engine spin freely and build oil pressure into all systems. Only click into gear when you're truly ready to ride, then release the clutch smoothly. Warming up in gear risks unexpected jerks. In neutral, you avoid that entirely. Mistake 8. Ignoring the temperature. Treating every day the same is a mistake. In cold weather, engines, oil, and tires need extra care. For example, oil that's fine in summer may be almost solid in winter, and batteries output far less cold cranking power. Consequence: too little warm-up in frigid temps means oil stays thick and circuits run rich. The bike may struggle to idle, stall, or stall, and your tires or brakes will grip poorly until warmed. Conversely, over-idling just wastes fuel and overheats the engine. How to do it right. Adapt your routine. In mild temps, a 30 to 60 second idle is usually sufficient. If it's freezing, extend that to 1 to 2 minutes, and in severe cold, allow up to 2 to 3 minutes of idle. After any idle, shift smoothly and keep revs modest for the first few minutes. As one tip, using a lighter winter-grade oil flows better when cold. Don't forget to quickly check your oil level and tire pressure during that warm-up. Then set off smoothly and let the first few miles finish the warming process. Mistake 9. Warming up indoors. Here's one safety rule many riders overlook but absolutely shouldn't. Never idle your motorcycle inside a closed garage or any enclosed space. Even if the door is slightly open, exhaust fumes quickly fill the area with carbon monoxide, an odorless gas that can cause dizziness, unconsciousness, or death within minutes. The risk far outweighs any warm-up benefit. Do it safely. Start and warm up your bike outdoors or with the garage door completely open, ensuring good airflow. Once the engine runs smoothly, ride away promptly and don't linger indoors while it's running. According to the CDC, over 400 Americans die each year from unintentional carbon monoxide poisoning, often linked to idling vehicles in garages. It takes just a few minutes of exposure to reach dangerous levels, especially in colder months when riders think it's safer to warm up inside. Remember, clean air saves lives by always idle in the open.